Congressman Mike Gallagher. Representative Gallagher is the chairman of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. He is, however, reeling as Giannis is out tonight, and the Bucks appear to be doomed. Congressman, I just salute you for being able to get up. Maybe you want to jump on the Cavs bandwagon because they beat the Knicks up last night. And Jimmy Haslam, Cleveland Browns owner, now owns the Bucks. So I'm just wondering, maybe you want to come over now?
There will be no bandwagoning. The Bucks are not out, but Giannis's lower back contusion is not good. I think it was deliberate sabotage. It was a result of a collision, but we'll see. A lot of games left in this series, Hugh.
No, actually, 3 games left in the series if Giannis can't play. That's over. You should listen to Mark Price for 3 because he was talking about it last night. Chairman Gallagher, let's start. Before you were a vaunted congressman and chairman of a select committee, you were a Marine Corps intel officer. Did any of your young E3s put just stuff randomly on the internet that has compromised our national security in ways that I'm just dumbfounded by day after day?
They did not, and I had very young intelligence analysts that were attached to my team. I had, young-ish intel collectors, all of whom were operating with TSSCI clearances. I mean, in the Marine Corps in particular, we devolve a lot of trust and authority and responsibility down to the lowest levels. And anytime you have a service member betray that trust, as it seems happened in this case with the Massachusetts Air National Guardsmen, it, I think, undermines the entire system, as well as just the simple fact of putting sensitive intelligence out there, making us look weak, making us look like we just can't handle basic functioning and basic handling of classified information. So, and thus far, the answers and explanations we've gotten from the intelligence community and DoD have been insufficient. There's a lot of unanswered questions. So this is a really damaging situation, and we still need to get to the bottom of it.
All right, my last question, and I want to move on to the war game you're going to run tonight, because I think that's fascinating. The Pentagon is closing the barn door as fast as they can. But what they're doing is they're tightening something or other. They're not focused on the problem, which is a 21-year-old age cohort. A lot of them lack a moral sense, which James Q. Wilson called a moral sense. How do you put back in what God left out, if it's been left out? That's the classic line from Chariots of Fire. I can't put in what God left out. This is astonishing to me that anyone would even think about doing. He doesn't appear to be a spy. He didn't get paid. He just did it.
Well, I think I would draw your listeners' attention to an op-ed that David McCormick wrote a few days ago in the Wall Street Journal about the cultural rot that is affecting our military. And I thought it was a very eloquent explanation of a complex phenomenon where we're seeing all these incidents, and we're really seeing, I think, too, reflected in the recruiting crisis, something new and something very troubling. One would hope you join the military because of an allegiance to a higher cause and a desire to serve your country. But incidents like this really undermine that sacred trust. And I don't know if it's purely a generational thing, but it certainly seems like there's something going on here culturally that's very hard to fix. The only thing I think we can do to start fixing it is for senior leaders at the Pentagon in particular to start modeling better behavior in terms of selfless service to country. And anytime we have a general officer who runs their mouth to the press or talks to reporters in an effort to rehabilitate their reputation, or we have a politicized general and flag officer class, I think that further undermines the trust. And if you're a young E3 or a young first lieutenant looking to your leaders for how to act ethically, you could find yourself unmoored. And so we really have to fix the cultural problem in the military and reinvest in a war-fighting culture, not a politicized, highly civilianized culture. And that's what worries me right now.
Excellent point. Now I want to go to the war game. I want you to tell us as much as you can. I hope it's televised. I doubt that it is. But I would watch that. I would actually pull up the chair and watch the committee do a war game. What is happening?
It is going to be televised. It's not going to be in real time. It's going to be, the whole thing's going to be filmed, and then we're going to take portions of it, and it'll be televised the next day, I believe, depending how quickly they can cut it up. So I think it'll be a fascinating insight just into challenge we face across the Taiwan Strait, as well as the different trade-offs that members are thinking about, and what we can do ultimately in this Congress to enhance our deterrent across the Taiwan Strait. One thing that really troubled me yesterday when we had a hearing with representatives from Indo-Pacific Command as well as U.S. Forces Korea, I asked the commander of Indo-Pacific Command if he was concerned about the depth of our magazine capacity, i.e. that we would sort of run out of critical munitions in the event of a war. And every war game I've played, and I've played a few of them now, that happens. And you talk to Admiral Mark Montgomery, you talk to our mutual friend Jerry Hendricks, that's probably the top thing they say. It's just that we don't have the requisite number of long-range anti-ship missiles and, SM-6 and other key weapon systems we need. But the Indo-Pacific commander responded saying he's not too worried about that. He's not too worried about our ability to respond and deter and deal with that contingency, and that shocked me. And every analysis I've seen, including the Center for Strategic International Studies, which just did a comprehensive analysis from 24 war games, suggests that we quickly run out of critical munition systems and that we really need to rearm and fix our defense industrial base. So that's something I'm hoping we can get into in this war game. So again, the intent here is for, in a creative, unique setting, to tease out all of the difficult challenges we face across the Taiwan Strait in order to prevent a war. And that is the ultimate purpose of a war.
Everybody is a producer. That's our joke in radio. Everybody knows how to do talk radio, and they actually don't. But I am here to give you a suggestion on this war game. Have a narrator open it up with an explanation of a war game, what job you are playing. What job are you going to have, by the way? Are you going to be the president?
I'm going to be... All the members are going to be on the blue force, so on the good guy side. We may not have specific roles, but we're all going to be playing on the American side.
Well, my suggestion would be that you and your co-chair from the Democrats act as a joint president or president in SecDef, so that it's a joint thing. But it's got to be explained in a B-roll at the beginning, saying this is how a war game works, move one, move two, and we're condensing it so you can see what happens. Do you know what the first move is?
I don't, and that's by design. Actually, it's the challenge is in the course of 2 hours. Usually these war games, to do them right, take a full day. You have to script a little bit of it, but we genuinely want this to be extemporaneous, and we want to force members to think. And I myself don't know what the first move is going to be. By the way, if Dwayne or you or somebody really that has just a beautiful voice wants to do some sort of James Earl Jones-esque narration to this thing, we could find a way to package that.
No, I don't think so, because that will forever ruin my cred in the debate world. But I do want somebody, doesn't have to be, just set it up, because it's so difficult to understand. It's like trying to watch the Green Bay Packers playing a playoff game. I want people to score. I want them to get to the score, and so they got to get the beginning of it. Jerry Hendricks has told me we lose every game in the first two matches. I haven't asked Admiral Montgomery has not told me, but we lose them all. And, there's going to be an opening move that's going to put you back. 2034 opens with an attack on a carrier, of course, which I think is a declaration of war.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I would watch it in real time, and then I would look for people like Hendricks and Montgomery and Stab to publish their commentary. It would be great if America would focus on this and then get a bunch of input. Who is going to be the Secretary of Defense till Lloyd Austin? Michelle, the former Deputy Secretary. Yeah, Flournoy. I would, get them in a room or have them comment on it, because this could really educate the American people. This war is not going to be like August of 1914. It's not even going to be like the phony war of 1940. It's not going to be like the invasion it's going to go down in 48 hours, right?
Well, yeah, and two quick points. Even in the war games I've played, where you win in the sense that you prevent the Chinese Communist Party from getting thousands of people onto the island, or you sort of degrade the amount of people, the costs are enormous. I mean, you mentioned an aircraft carrier. That's 5,000 Americans dead right there. It's a scale we can't really conceive of. It's a scale unlike anything we've seen since World War II. And getting people to understand those costs is important, because hopefully that creates a sense of urgency around deterrence. We should be moving heaven and earth in order to deter a war, because as we see in Ukraine, deterrence failures are costly. and war is hell. And you don't, and, it's like an ounce of deterrence is worth a pound of war, or whatever the phrase would be. And we just don't, our mindset's not there. We're still operating on a peacetime footing where, paradoxically, the Pentagon needs to be on a wartime footing, particularly when it comes to producing critical weapon systems in order to preserve the peace. That's what it's all about. But I've yet to see that sense of urgency from the top leadership in the Biden administration's Defense Department.
So what time are you doing this, Rep. Gallagher?
This will be at 7 p.m. Tonight, and then my team will let you know as soon as the video is ready. We'll do our best to make sure it's narrated in simple and direct language with no acronyms. I always try and abide now by the Hewitt rule: no jargon, no acronyms. It's very hard for the defense community to do that, but that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, my last suggestion tonight: put out a summary press release of what happened, just the end result. That way, people say, "What?" Because we're going to lose. Every war game that Hendricks has told me about, we lose. And so maybe if your Democratic colleague, who's your ranking member?
Raja Krishnamurthy from Illinois.
I would like to know if you two are playing co-presidents. I know we don't have a co-president, but that is a
but
very...
The headline's going to be, the headline would be Gallagher makes himself president, Hugh. So, come on, we don't want that.
Marine in charge of the country. We're in trouble. Okay, Congressman, no breaking off to go watch the Bucks lose game 2. Get it done.